Hi guys, welcome to the Good Life Plan, the channel where I connect the fundamentals of life to the fundamentals of health so that fitness is not just something that you admire and revere from a distance but a part of your reality, your life, something that you love and live with. I am Sudipta and I have been in this field for over 30 years. और 30 साल पहले की दुनिया में ऑब्वियसली फिटनेस वाज नॉट दिस पॉपुलर और स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं. एज अ मैटर ऑफ फैक्ट मेरे आसपास की दुनिया दो हिस्सों में बटी थी. एक थी विद्वानों की, दूसरी बलवानों की, ब्रेन्स एंड ब्रॉन्स. और ये लेके चला जाता था कि जिनमें अकल है वो बलवान नहीं होंगे और बलवान बेचारे तो कभी अक्लमंद नहीं हो सकते. तो बट नेवरदलेस इस डिविसिव दुनिया में मुझे बड़ा फ़ायदा हुआ बिकॉज आई कुड फ्रेम माई ओन क्वेश्चंस, फिगर आउट माई ओन आंसर्स एंड मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली कलेक्ट माई ओन फिटनेस truths. And this is what I'm doing. I'm sharing them with you through Good Life Plan. I hope they help you in your quest, but more importantly, I hope they encourage and empower you to seek your own fitness truths. So on that note, we begin this episode, and tonight we discuss the immensely popular and grossly misunderstood hunger. So hunger is a feeling to complete oneself. When we are hungry, we feel hollow, incomplete. We feel the absence of something vital within. I, for one, used to become extremely irritable and edgy, and as my husband used to put it, under the grip of an unknown dark force. So is hunger a force or a feeling? I think it's an experience of a force that seeks integration. And since I've said hunger is a feeling to complete oneself, so the question arises, complete with what? It could be money, things, emotions, abilities, and the most obvious one being the one that we are going to discuss tonight, that's about food. So since Good Life Plan is about health and life, I am mostly going to discuss the hunger that drives us towards food. If you have seen the earlier episode of Good Life Plan, you know that I describe food as a process through which Mother Nature establishes the cycle of life and death. So that makes hunger the force that drives the cycle of life and death. So hunger is a primal response, and primal responses are self-preserving automated responses that we are all born with. मतलब कि हमारे fundamental responses हैं towards life. The other primal responses are feeding, fleeing, fighting and reproduction. Now, despite being a primal response, despite being something that we are all born with, hunger always comes with a negative connotation. मतलब भूख के साथ लड़ाई जुड़ी है हमेशा से, and sometimes rightly so. I mean, it is a misfortune when it represents social inequality. It does show failure of nations, lack of progress. As a matter of fact, 2018 की United Nations की एक study है जहाँ ये clearly mention किया गया था कि the farmers all over the world are now producing enough to feed 1.5 times the world population. Despite that, over 9 million people die of malnutrition and starvation every year, and out of which 3.1 million are children. So in this context, the fight against hunger is valid and important. But what about the over-the-top expression battle with hunger used by all those whose kitchens and refrigerators are stacked with food? Now, I'm not completely dismissing their emotions, but just to let you know, there's a difference between being hungry and feeling hungry, which I'll discuss in a while. But as of now, let me just expand a little bit more on this pointless battle with hunger. First, the term itself is problematic because it tells us to be scared of hunger despite having access to food at all times. Second, it demonizes hunger unnecessarily. See, minutes after we are born, we all did two things. We learned to breathe on our own and we experienced hunger. So both breath and hunger taught us how to interact and integrate with the universe we were born in. So that makes hunger one of the most important relationships of our lives. और लड़ाई से ignore, manage या manipulate से ना रिश्ते बनते हैं ना वो हमें बनाते हैं. So what we need to do is understand, accept and respect hunger, and that's precisely what we are going to do now for the next few minutes. So hunger can be psychological, spiritual and physiological. Psychological hunger is usually born out of an emptiness. We all feel empty from time to time when we hit a creative block, or we suffer a setback at work or relationship, or when we are just plain simple bored. And that's the time we reach out for something to eat. It's an impulse, an expression to merge with the life that seems to have abandoned us. तो ज़िंदगी से जुड़ने का हमारा तरीका है. And ironically and interestingly, we end up eating something unhealthy, something that I call a food-like substance. And also, psychological hunger is the only hunger where the solution is not food. So can we avoid it? Let's be real, we can't. But what we can do is be aware of the fact that food is only going to give us a temporary reprieve, and eventually we'll have to go out there and look for the solution elsewhere, or probably just ride the emptiness wave. And this awareness is what keeps the indulgences to a minimum. So that's psychological hunger. Now spiritual hunger is when we use hunger as a tool to transcend our bodies. It subdues the extra energy and sets us back in rhythm with the universe. So fasting is practiced as a ritual in all religions of the world. It is associated with cleansing and humility. And just to add as a side note, जहाँ ईश्वर का नाम और domicile हमें अलग करता है, religious fasting unites us all. So that's spiritual hunger. Now let's discuss physiological hunger, and we speak about the difference between being hungry and feeling hungry. So being hungry is homeostatic hunger, one that stems from energy depletion, and feeling hungry is hedonistic hunger, one that is driven by sensory perceptions. So before you think one is better than the other, let me clarify, it isn't. I believe hedonistic hunger has also helped us to survive as a species because it taught us how to distinguish food by its taste, color and aroma. So both homeostatic hunger and hedonistic hunger have a very intricate and elaborate system, and it is interdependent and works synergistically. Trouble happens when we indulge in the hedonistic pathways more than the homeostatic ones. यानी कि हर चौका और मौका जब पिज़्ज़ा, बर्गर, समोसे और चिप्स से मनाई जाती है, that's when the troubles begin. That's when your hunger signals misfires and misleads. And misleading hunger signals को follow करने का मतलब वही होता है, misleading signals को follow करने का जो मतलब होता है, you end up walking the wrong path and fighting futile battles. So can we repair the hunger signals? The question arises, right? So I'll give you two strategies which will help you to repair your hunger signals. And the first one is by introducing fasting. तो भूख के सिग्नल को करेक्ट करने के लिए भूखा रहना, I know it may sound a bit strange, so I'll give you the science behind it. Contrary to the expression भूख से जान निकलती है, actually during hunger our bodies are in a heightened state of existence. It accesses untapped processes, releases hormones to use the stored fuel as energy. Notable among all these hormones is the release of growth hormone that aids in fat loss and corrects many disorders associated with irresponsibility. And the most important of the untapped process is cell autophagy. The term became popular in 2016 when Japanese cell biologist Yashinori Oshumi won the Nobel Prize for Medicine for his mind-boggling work in this subject. तो सेल ऑटोफेजी में क्या होता है? द सेल्स ब्रेक डाउन देयर प्रोटीन्स, देयर कंपोनेंट्स टू रिलीज एनर्जी, एंड इन दिस प्रोसेस it also cleanses itself of the damaged structures. So fasting almost single-handedly boosts your immune system, improves your longevity and actually cleanses the system. तो रिलीजियस फास्टिंग में जिस क्लेंजिंग की बात हो रही है उसके पीछे का साइंस जो है वो है सेल ऑटोफेजी. आई नो बहुत सारे लोग मुझे ये आके कहते हैं हमने मंगलवार का फास्ट रखा, शनिवार को हम नॉनवेज नहीं खाते, हमें तो कोई फ़ायदा नहीं हुआ. सो क्लैरिफाइंग दैट द fasting that science is talking about, the fasting that is actually going to benefit you, is not about eating a certain kind of food on a certain day. It is about not eating food for a certain period of time. That's what is going to benefit you. And I know that fasting, that kind of fasting actually sounds daunting, but it needn't be. Once you understand that nature has given you the ability to go without food for a long period of time. We all are fasting when we are sleeping. So use your sleep to introduce fasting in your life. Stop eating 3 hours before you go to bed, assuming you're sleeping for 8 hours, that's like 11 hours. And don't eat 2 hours after you wake up. So that's like a good 12 to 13 hours of fasting that you can easily introduce in your life. And you can try it. It may not be very easy in the beginning, but I assure you 8 weeks time you will see a remarkable change in your life. So that's the first thing, introduce fasting in your life. And the second one is about food and prana. So if you've seen the earlier episode of Good Life Plan on food, you'll remember nature has designed food to transmit prana to us. Prana is a very popular concept, we all know about it. It's the vital force connecting reality at all levels. So prana in food are its nutrients. Hunger, the job of hunger is to drive those nutrients within us so that we have a healthy life and a healthy body. So when you are breaking a fast or when you are hungry, opt for food which has nutrients, which assimilate prana, and avoid food which do not have nutrients or are nutrient-less, prana-less, and they disrupt prana. So that's what you need to do. And how to distinguish between food which has prana and or the real food and the fake food, you can always refer to the video of the Good Life Plan, the previous video which was about food. So in the end, I would urge you to embrace hunger as a positive feeling. We are living in times of abundance. Let's not kill ourselves with reckless indulgence. Let's maintain a sense of balance the way nature wants us to. And when we thank the universe for the food on our table, let's also thank it for hunger, for it allows us to enjoy the precious sensations. So with that, we come to the end of this episode. I hope the Good Life Plan helps you in your fitness quest. Till we meet again, stay safe, stay strong, and keep the smile on. Thank you very much.